Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. Week 8 preview, and I am still working on the Week 7 recaps, getting over being sick. Put me way behind on that, put me way behind on my actual 9 to 5. So, one man sucks, but we trudge along. Let's move on to Week 8, and if you guys want to watch Week 7 recaps as I roll them out, go for it. But let's move on to Week 8. All right, let's start it off with a matinee game. We are going to go up to Green Bay, where the Quad City Steamwheelers are going to take on the Green Bay Blizzard. And this one scares me a little bit. As a Quad City fan, this one scares me a little bit. We'll talk about it. 6-0, Quad City 3-0 on the road, taking on the Green Bay Blizzard 3-3 in a 2-1 home record. 3:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. You love it, you like it. Go subscribe if you haven't. Your season leaders up to this point for the two teams. Daquan Neal leads in rushing and passing. Same with Max Myler. For Daquan Neal, 50 of 90 for 617 yards, 18 touchdowns to 3 picks. Max Myler, 85 of 140, 862 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. For Daquan Neal, 52 carries, 262 yards, 8 touchdowns. And Myler has 47 carries, 285 yards, 9 rushing touchdowns. Very similar. Your leading receivers, Jordan Vesey, 12 catches, 214 yards and 7 touchdowns. Lowell Patron, 18 catches, 230 yards and 4 touchdowns. Moving over to our injury report, Quad City has added a couple of people to their injury report. Same with Green Bay. Travell Calvin was there recently, and then Davion Johnson has been added to the season injured reserve list. Geno Appleberry to the short-term injured reserve list. For Green Bay, they've gotten some guys off of injured reserve, but they have had to add Roderick Williams and Sue Kamara. Short-term for Roderick, and then season injured reserve for Sue Kamara. Nerion Washington has also been downgraded from short-term injured reserve to season injured reserve, but everything else there has kind of stayed the same for the other 4 candidates. So, moving over to our game odds, over/under of 85.5, and Green Bay underdog on the road, underdog at home, +1.5. Quad City favored, -1.5 on the road, -130 for the Steamwheelers, and +110 if you want a home field upset. Speaking of home field, we are at the Resch Center in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin. Again, 3:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. And our head-to-head, it's getting close here. Green Bay still has the advantage, 7-6. But the last meeting these two teams had, Week 1, was the second or third game to start the year, and it was a 39-37 Quad City victory. So Quad City has an opportunity to tie the all-time series up at 7 after this game, or we can have a 2-game lead for Green Bay if they want to win it. So with that, let's go take a look at our 25-man rosters. Bet and prediction, we got 4 more previews. All right. Let's take a look at the 25-man roster as it pops up over my face. For the away side, the Quad City Steamwheelers, some additions. Short-term injury reserve and stuff, you're going to add a couple of people. Daquan Neal is your starter. Demery Croft, your backup, most likely. Jared Ware is your only running back on the roster, with Geno Appleberry going to the short-term injured reserve. And then we'll get to see a new wide receiver. Deion McShane, Kevon Rudd, Jordan Vesey, and Daquan Dudley. Welcome to the squad, Daquan. I know he's commented a couple of times, so shout out to you, bud. And we'll see how he is. Former Vegas Nighthawk. He was released a week or 2 ago from the team. He's got picked up by Quad City, so we'll see how he fits into the team. Offensive line will most likely stay the same. Crowell, Avery Scott, Tyrone Chambers. Again, they've traded for Raul Esperance, but I have not seen anything that says he has signed with the team. So I think he's just kind of there as a placeholder, maybe. I'm not sure. On the defensive side of the ball, no changes really. It's still Kadir Shepard, David Cagle, Keyshawn Moore, with Chimadunga being a depth piece. Bubba Arslanian as your linebacker. Brian Lee gets on the defensive line sometimes. He gets in on special teams as well. Defensive secondary, Trey Smith, CJ Parrish, Chris Chukwuemeka, Nicholas Harris, Malik Duncan, and Cameron Harrell for that defensive secondary. And ultimately, it's kind of just been Harrell, Duncan, Trey Smith and Chukwuemeka for your starters. So we'll see if there's any, Parrish or Harris. I think they had both of them last week, and we'll see how they kind of go with your 21-man roster. Your kicker is Kyle Kaplan. And now over to Green Bay, they've also had some additions and subtractions as well. TJ Davis and Max Myler. Myler's most likely your starter. TJ Davis, jack of all trades. At one point, he's been their leading receiver. He's run the ball. I mean, every team has one of these now. So TJ Davis doing a very good job of it. New addition, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Kaimani Clark, your running back, but Jalen Cagle comes in, former running back from last season. That's a really good signing. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a really good signing for Green Bay. Andre Williams, Lil Patron, Harry Ballard, and Terrell Casey. On the offensive line, Devin Johnson comes off of season injured reserve or short-term injured reserve. Jake Parks, Justice Smith, and Andrew Carter. So while they do lose a little bit, they do gain a little bit on that offensive line. Losing a little bit on the defensive line, though, Devin Rice, Tremont Lofton, Allen Henry, and Sean Mustin. But if I'm not mistaken, all four played last week. Lofton, Henry, Mustin were your starters. Devin Rice, your backup. Andre White, Jalen Johnson for your linebackers. It's pretty much been either or when it comes to it, but I think Jalen Johnson has kind of been your starter. Andre White, your depth piece. And then on the secondary side, Nigel Canada, Mamadou Mbai comes off short-term injury reserve, Kevin Ransom, Gervin Hall, Isaiah Jacobs, and Cale Jackson. We'll see if Cale Jackson switches back to 13. We'll just kind of go from there. Your kicker, James Turner. It is no longer Andrew Mevis. He has been signed by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers of the Canadian Football League, so congrats to him. Love seeing players move up into better, well, not better, but you know what I mean, like better opportunities. So there's your 25-man roster for Green Bay, your 25-man roster for Quad City. So take a look at our bet and prediction. Move on to preview number 2. All right, bet and prediction time. I don't have a lot of confidence in this one, but -1.5 for Quad City. Yeah, a lot of people are picking an upset, man. A lot of people are picking an upset in this one. I can't go against my team. It's the same thing. When you're on a heater, don't walk away from the table. I'm still not going to do that just yet, but yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in this one, mainly just reading other people's works, which again, go subscribe to Sports Coast to Coast, go subscribe to Off the Wall, Shady Sports, whatever. A lot of great content creators for the Indoor Football League and other leagues, if you like it, but mainly, I'm scared a little bit. -1.5, I'm going to go against the grain from a couple of other people, mainly because I think Andrew Mevis' loss is going to be a big thing for Green Bay. Now, that's not to say Green Bay can't score points. They can. The guy hits deuces. The guy hits field goals. The guy keeps you in the game when he absolutely has to. And Green Bay will still score points in this game. It's not like it's going to be a shutout or anything like that. And I have heard rumors, I don't believe them, but I have heard rumors that Daquan Neal might be hurt for this one. So that could bode well for Green Bay. And I don't believe it. I think Daquan Neal could still be in there. If not, I do think Demery Croft is a pretty good backup. I mean, he did play wide receiver last week against Fishers and caught a touchdown. So I don't know. I try not to believe any and all rumors or anything like that, but yeah, -1.5. I think Quad City, their offense still looks really good. Yeah, they needed overtime to get past Fishers, but there were some points for Quad City last week where they could have kind of taken control of the game. I know Fishers could have as well, but there were some points where Quad City looked really good against Fishers and then squandered it a little bit. Green Bay, they have been in games. They've let games slip away from them, but they have looked kind of good as of late. That defensive line looks very solidified. You have Sean Mustin, a CFL caliber player, Tremont Lofton, kind of the same. I think he was with the UFL or USFL or XFL at one point too. So a very good defensive line as always from Green Bay. The secondary still looks pretty nasty too. So I want to see that dynamic again. I know they played earlier this year, but new players, roster turnover, new kicker for Green Bay. Like, I want to see how the offense of Quad City goes up against a new revamped defense of Green Bay. On the other side, it's kind of more of the same for both sides. I don't think they had Harry Ballard in their first matchup, so having another weapon and getting Jalen Cagle Kaimani Clark. So I believe in the first matchup it was Joshua Mack at running back. So a new dynamic at the running game for Green Bay. I want to see how that defense goes for Quad City as well, with Arslanian really putting on a good season right now, picking the ball off, recovering fumbles, getting in there and pressuring the quarterback. Really good. Defensive line, Keyshawn Moore, David Cagle, Kadir Shepard, like that entire defensive line looks really good as well. My prediction for this one, 45-42. I think Quad City wins a squeaker. It could come down to the kicking game. It could come down to a deuce or an extra point, to be brutally honest with you. That's where I see it. I want to see, this could be a chess match. I mean, it could be a little lower scoring. Both teams like to run the ball. Their quarterback is their leading rusher, so on and so forth. So, ultimately, yeah, that's where I have it. I have it 45-42, Quad City -1. You just can't walk away from a heater yet. Not yet. I don't have a lot of confidence in this one, but there could be a lot of confidence brewing if Quad City can go on the road and take care of business in Green Bay. So, that's where we have it. I like what I see for both sides. I'm excited for this one. So let's move on to preview number 2. All right, preview number 2, and we have another Eastern Conference matchup. Down in Oil Country, the 1-4 Barnstormers of Iowa, 0-3 on the road, mind you, taking on the 3-2 Tulsa Oilers, who are 2-0 at home. Something got to give. Let's preview it. 7:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, as always, on the Indoor Football League Network. We have our season leaders. James Cahoon is your leading rusher and passer. Same with TJ Edwards. James Cahoon, 38 of 62, 350 yards, 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. TJ Edwards, 60 of 93, 528 yards, 17 touchdowns, no interceptions yet. Rushing yards, James Cahoon, 8 carries for 12 yards. I can't take that seriously. TJ Edwards, 68 carries, 279 yards, 9 touchdowns. Your receiving yards leaders, Keon Williams, 30 receptions, 381 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's just been on a tear. And then Sheldon Augustine, Juju Augustine, 17 catches, 153 yards, and 6 touchdowns for him. Pretty good for both sides. Injury report, Iowa, not really much to report. Still have Hood and Clausen on theirs. And then the Oilers, same thing. Smith, Bundage, Nolan, that's what they have. So nothing new to report for either side. It's pretty good. Over to the game odds, over-under of 81.5, and Tulsa favored by almost a touchdown, -6.5 in this one, plus 170 for Iowa on the road if you want to take an upset, -205 for Tulsa at home. Speaking of home, we are at the BOK Center in lovely, beautiful Tulsa, Oklahoma, the 7:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, as I've mentioned earlier, Indoor Football League Network. Our head-to-head, Tulsa leads the overall series 3-1, and they met last time, Week 15 of 2024, with Tulsa winning 54-48. So new players, new teams, kind of the same coaches. See what we can gather. Let's go take a look at our 25-man roster and see. Alrighty, so 25-man roster popping up here for both sides. Taking a look at the away side first for Iowa, Niall McLaughlin, James Cahoon. They have finally released Joaquin Collazo, so they are down to 2 quarterbacks. Cahoon to be your starter, Niall McLaughlin your backup. They finally have a running back on the roster. They have signed Alfonso Graham from Morgan State. We'll see how that kind of goes, and if they use him, or if they need more of a pass blocking running back. We'll see. Nothing new when it comes to the wide receivers, Taylor, Williams, Bracey, Currington, and Harvey. And then on the offensive line, Rodney Luckett, Tyler Castaneda, Paul Fay, and Shamari Williams. So we'll see how that goes. Not a lot of changes to Iowa. Defensively, kind of the same thing too. Godbolt, Ellison, Smith, Tate, and Johnson for the defensive line. They normally run 4 deep. And then on the linebacker spot, Kadri Jackson, still kind of that stalwart of the linebacker position. One change to the secondary, Larry Walker, Caleb Street, Isaac Duffy, Jared Sod, Darius Harper, and then Jesse Johnson has been added to the secondary, so a little bit more depth when it comes there. Gabriel Rui is your kicker. And let's move over to the Tulsa side. TJ Edwards and Hassan Rogers. Again, Hassan Rogers, just one of those jack of all trades. He's most likely going to be your running back. He will split out wide and catch the ball. He can play quarterback if he needs to. I mean, he's done it before, especially for Tulsa too. So TJ Edwards most likely your starter, though. For the wide receivers, not a lot of changes. Novak, Augustine, Crockett, Tiers, and Blackman, they'll just kind of roll with them as well. On the offensive line, Gene Tapia, Patrick Barrett, Zach Branner, Kerry Reynolds, and they did get Jake Balderrama a couple weeks ago off of refused to report. I have not seen anything else that signifies he is signed, so he's still there, kind of a placeholder. On the defense, they have made one signing, or defensive line at least. Rudy Ngoni, Jacarius Smith, Esias Carpenter, Trey Smalls, and Robert Fuentes rounds out your defensive line. Fuentes from the MIAA, go Pitt State, but he is from Central Oklahoma. Dylan Petway, Marquez Bembry for the linebacker position. Bembry, most likely your starter. In the secondary, Taylor Hawkins, Ramon Morris, Kentrell Pierce, Isaiah Smith, Kayshawn Allen, and Trey Harvey. So, not bad. I know last week when Tulsa played, it was Marquez Bembry on the defensive line with Trey Harvey being your linebacker. So we'll see if anything kind of changes or if they kind of go more with that. We'll just kind of see. But yeah, that's how we have it. Maybe Robert Fuentes sticks down there at the defensive line. They move Bembry back to linebacker. Harvey drops back to the secondary. We'll just kind of see how they go. Your kicker is Dean Saris, and that is your 25-man roster for Tulsa, your 25-man roster for Iowa. Let's go take a look at our bet and prediction, and we're done with this preview. We'll move on with preview number 3. All right, bet and prediction time for Tulsa and Iowa. I don't know. I'll just say it here. -6.5 for Tulsa. I don't know what Iowa is. I don't. And I've said this for 2 or 3 years now, and I know I've only had this channel for 2 years, but I've been saying this for a while. I don't know what Iowa is. I do not know what their identity is. Obviously, they want to throw the ball. Obviously, the defense is all right. It's not head and shoulders above the rest. It's not the worst, but when the defense is out there all the time because the offense can't convert 3rd and 4th downs, and you're just throwing the ball constantly and you're causing turnovers, and it's just, I don't know. It was 3 or 4 picks for Cahoon last week against Jacksonville. They only scored 22 points, and most of those came in the 4th quarter. It was not a good performance, man. It wasn't. And Tulsa's going to run the ball. Tulsa's going to do exactly what Jacksonville did, have Caleb Barker run it. They're going to run it like they did with Vance Bennett. They're going to use Hassan Rogers. They're going to use some jet sweeps if they have to. That's what Tulsa's going to do. And they'll pop some passes over the top. They'll do some crossing routes on you. They'll find players in the middle of the zone. They will kind of chunk play you to death if they have to. They'll burn you deep if they have to. Like Tulsa, I don't know. They're in a way better position. We kind of know what Tulsa is already. That's the reason I have a -6.5. I think they can win this one by a touchdown or more. I do. I do not know what Iowa is. They looked good against Fishers, but then you're wondering, well, Fishers kicked 3 or 4 onside kicks. They only recovered 1. That gave Iowa chances to score points, and that's how they got 60 plus. I don't know. Tulsa's defense looks good. They do, and I think if they can pressure Iowa, I mean, look what they did against San Antonio. Look at what they did against Green Bay. Tulsa looks pretty good, man. I mean, they look pretty good, all things considered, and I think this is more of the same. I think Tulsa can win this one really going away with it. But yeah, I like what Tulsa's offense has. I like what their defense has, and you just wonder what if this is another 3 interception day for James Cahoon. He looked good against Fishers, but do you put Niall McLaughlin in there? Do you? That's my biggest question, because there was such a short leash for Joaquin Collazo and Niall McLaughlin. You couldn't pick between the two, and now you have your quote savior come in. I don't know, and I'm not trying to dog on Iowa or anything like that. It's just it hasn't gotten better. It hasn't. In fact, it might be worse. I'll be brutally honest with you. So -6.5 for Tulsa. My prediction for this one, 49-38. It's an 11-point victory for Tulsa. They could win by 2 touchdowns. They could. I'm confident in this, man. It's at home. Iowa does not look good on the road, and Tulsa looks good at home, man. And their 2 games against Green Bay and San Antonio, they have looked really, really good. And I expect the team to bring it again. I do. So that's where I have it here, 49-38 for my prediction, -6.5 for Tulsa. Until I see something different with Iowa consistently. I put my faith in them last week. They burned the hell out of me. I'm just not going to do it again. So until then, minus 6.5, and Tulsa winning it outright. So there you have it. Let's go take a look at our next preview. All right, preview number 3. Game of the week. Game of the week. My God, am I been waiting for this one. Oh my God. 8:05 p.m. Central Time on the Indoor Football League Network. The 4-1 Bay Area Panthers in their second road game of the season. We are 8 weeks in. This is their second road game. Taking on the 4-1 Arizona Rattlers, 3-0 at home. Oh, I'm ready for this, man. 4-1 against 4-1. Game of the week. Winner takes control of the Western Conference. Let's get into it, man. Season leaders, passing and rushing. Josh Jones, Dalton Sneed for both teams. Josh Jones, 7 of 113, 730 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. Dalton Sneed, 69 of 121, 846 yards, 16 touchdowns, 3 picks. Josh Jones rushing, 57 carries, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dalton Sneed, 32 carries, 137 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Your receiving leaders, Josh Tomas, 19 catches, 235 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and Isaiah Houston, 21 catches, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. Your injury report for both sides. Shamar Moreland has been added to the season injured reserve list for Bay Area. And for Arizona, they've gotten some guys way off of injured reserve, but they've had to add 3. And that's Jalen Campbell, Yohines Tyler, and Javion Caldwell. Moving over to our game odds, it's an over-under of 86.5, and we have another pick'em. We do, and I know I talked about it for Green Bay Tulsa last week. This week, no different. It's a pick'em. We'll talk about it in the preview or in the prediction, man. But this one, minus 110 for either side. You get a pick. We are in the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona. 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, as mentioned earlier, on the Indoor Football League Network. And we have a tied series, 3-3. Last meeting, Week 10, Bay Area took the victory 68-52. Will we see more of the same? Let's go find out. Let's take a look at our 25-man roster first, then we'll talk bet and prediction. 25-man rosters popping up over my face. Let's take a look at them. The away side first for Bay Area. Josh Jones, your starter. Liam Thompson, your backup. We have an addition to the wide receiving core. Josh Tomas, Tosin Oyakonmi, Tyrese Chambers, Trayvon Alexander, RZ McCorker, and who I am guessing, because it said Brian Smith, and there are 2 Brian Smiths, I think this is BK Smith Jr. Now, BK Smith is from Valdosta State. He was with Bay Area in the training camp days before the season started, and the height and weight kind of match what he was. So 5'10", 185. That's what I'm thinking. Arizona has another Brian Smith we'll talk about in a second. On the offensive line, Christian Coulter, Sidney Walker, Jamie Navarro, Antonio Derry, and Devin Salter. On the defensive side of the ball, Tavon Grant, Jonathan Ross, Morris Joseph, William Martin, Jack Daly. They've kind of run like the same defense every single week. So Grant, Ross, and Joseph will most likely be your starters. Daly or Martin will be your backup depth piece. BJ Tafalele is your linebacker. And then on the secondary, Trey Meadows, Tyler Watson, Joe Fouché, Frankie West, and Tyrese Wright. And again, running that same defense, Meadows, Watson, Fouché, and Wright will most likely be your starters, with Frankie West being a depth piece. Your kicker is Axel Perez. Moving over to the Arizona Rattlers, we do have some changes. Dalton Sneed, your starter, and Jaime Magale, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong. He is your backup. Drew Powell, you're out of here, bud. You're released. So we'll kind of see how this goes with a different backup, but Dalton Sneed is more than capable of taking the reins. Ron Brown is off of short-term injured reserve. He will complement Shannon Brooks. We'll see who starts. I'll be honest. I think Brooks will get the start. We'll see if Ron Brown suits up. On the wide receiving core, Jamal Miles, Isaiah Houston, Corey Reed, Brian Smith, we'll talk about in a sec, Jordan Parker, and Trey Dixon. Now, Dixon came off short-term injured reserve last week, and then they have signed Brian Smith and Jordan Parker. Brian Smith, 6'4", 210. That's not the height and weight it says on the Rattlers website, but it does say he is from Louisiana. Louisiana being that key for me because that shows he is the former Tucson and Jacksonville wide receiver. So he's got released from Tucson over to Jacksonville. You know the connection there. That's how I have it. BK Smith, Brian BK Smith over for Bay Area. Another Brian Smith. We have a Brian Smith Bowl. Michael Brown, Bryson Mays, Christopher Strotter. The only 3 offensive linemen, so we roll with that. On the defensive side for Arizona, Kevin Sims, Rashawn Yates, Isaiah Coe, James Nemwaya, and Jalen Bass off of short-term injured reserve. Avaya Leala Matafeo. Yeah, I'm getting close with it. He is your only linebacker. Jalen Campbell has been released, I believe. Yeah. And then your secondary, Merriweather, Overstreet, Huff, Alexander, and Ethan Castleberry. Kicker is Dawson Evans. That is your 25-man roster for Arizona, 25-man roster for Bay Area. Quite a few changes for one side, a couple of changes for the other. Let's go take a look at our bet and prediction. We'll move on with preview number 4. All right, bet and prediction time. I might talk myself out of it. Bay Area pick'em. They've just looked good, man. They have. And I'm not trying to overreact and be like, well, Arizona lost last week, so this is the reason why they're going to lose this week. That's not what I'm trying to say. I wonder if the changes that Arizona has had, I mean, Johannes Tyler, losing him, yeah, Corey Reed could step up in there. Jamal Miles, Isaiah Houston are always very, very serviceable. And yes, they do get Ron Brown back, so that's even more firepower to the offense. Only having 3 offensive linemen suiting up here with what the defensive Bay Area is capable of doing, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't have a reason. I don't have an excuse. It's just a gut feeling. Arizona is more than capable of winning this game. They're 3-0 at home. They've blown teams out, man. Yeah, they tripped up against Tucson, but look at what they've done against Northern Arizona, Tucson. Well, Tucson the first time is what I'm trying to say, when they beat Tucson at home 56-28. What they did against Northern Arizona, I mean, they've looked good. They had to come back against Green Bay, San Antonio. I mean, it's just, they've looked good. The Bay Area, I think, has just looked a little bit better. I expected a close game last week against San Diego, and they blew them out, man. They did. They just pulled away. They pulled away there, and they looked good. And that's kind of the basis of what I'm going for, man. Like, Bay Area looks polished. They looked good. And if they get this victory, that is a lot of confidence. Again, I don't put anything past Arizona. They can easily win this game. In fact, I might sway myself to that side too. This is truly a game of the week. My prediction, 46-43. It's close. It's close. It could even be closer than that. It could be 45-44. It could be. I expect both these teams to put up points. I do. And we'll see. I know both defenses look good. The secondaries look good. I don't know. I don't have a gauge on this one, man. I'm just excited to watch it. I'll tell you that much. And that is where I'm at with it. I don't know. I think Bay Area just looks a little bit more polished. Yeah, shine kind of wore off a little bit for Arizona against Tucson. Tucson won on a walk-off field goal, man. It's just, you can't take too much away from that, but the fact that Tucson was in that game at all, when you blew them out by 14 points, and it looked out of hand in the very first game of the year for either side. I don't know, man. I got Bay Area in this one, 46-44. I don't have a good reason, I'll be honest. Both offenses are good, both defenses are good, and I'm ready to see them go up against each other. It's been a long time in the making for both these teams. So I'm going to go with the quote upset and pick Bay Area. Although I know it's going to bite me in the ass. I know Arizona's going to win this one at home, and I know I should probably pick them, but I got to ride with what I got. So there you have it. Bay Area takes this one. Preview number 4, and this is a sneaky good game in the fact that one team needs to get after it and another team kind of has to get after it. We still don't know what this is. 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. The 1-4 San Antonio Gunslingers, 1-2 on the road, taking on the 3-2 Vegas Nighthawks, 1-1 at home. What can you make from both of these teams? They're going through some changes. Let's take a look at our season leaders. Guy Myers leading in rushing and passing for San Antonio. 19 of 27, 172 yards, no passing touchdowns, 1 interception. Jerome Johnson still your leading passer, even though he's played sparingly the last couple of games. 40 of 68, 482 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks. Rushing leaders again, Guy Myers leading, 27, 98 yards, 4 touchdowns. For Antonio Wimbush, 42 carries, 115 yards, 6 touchdowns on the ground. Your receiving leaders, Nyquan Murray and Quentin Randolph. Murray, 18 catches, 229 yards, 4 touchdowns. Randolph, 20 catches, 297 yards, and 6 touchdowns through the air. Injury report for both sides. Nothing really to report for San Antonio. The same 5 guys have been on there for the last couple of weeks. And for Vegas, 2 additions. They've gotten some guys off of short-term injured reserve, but 2 additions. Lee Autry added to the season injured reserve list, and Kyler Edwards short-term injured reserve list. Looking over at our game odds here, 79.5 for your over-under. Vegas favored by -4.5. If you want a San Antonio upset on the road, +150 for your money line, and -180 for the Nighthawks at home. Your game information, where we are at, Henderson, Nevada. Lee's Family Forum is your venue, 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff. And our series head-to-head, Vegas 2-0. And they have met recently, just a couple weeks ago. Vegas winning 35-28 in week 6. So just 2 weeks ago they met, and we get to see each other again. So with that, let's go take a look at our 25-man rosters, bet and prediction. We move on. All right, so 25-man roster popping up over my face. So let's take a look at the away side first. Not really any changes from the transactions page or anything that I could see for San Antonio. Zach Reeder, Guy Myers, with Guy Myers being your starter. At the running back position, Keyshawn Harper, CJ Odom. Wide receivers, everything kind of stays the same. Gibbons, Rashad, Upshaw, Murray, Jalen Robinson. Your offensive line, Matt Burrell, Quan Stallworth, Joel Galvin, and LaColby Tucker. So they might just run out that same offense that they have. I know they had a bye week. We'll see what they can do. Defensively, Ulrich Jones, Austin Collier, Warren Thomas, Justin Sykes. Your linebackers, Eric Rasco, Hassan Black. And then your secondary, Clifton Duck, Christoph Page, Jalen Phelps, Kyle Myers, and Mike Miller. Your kicker is Tyler Hudel. And then for Vegas, Jerome Johnson and Jaden Delora are your quarterbacks. Who starts? I don't know. I mean, seriously, I don't know. Delora started the last 2 games. Johnson had to come in at some point last week, and he put the ball on the turf, and I don't know. Delora did get hurt, if I remember correctly. We'll see. Signs to me personally, I think Johnson gets the start until otherwise. I don't know. Antonio Wimbush is your running back, and now I didn't see this on the transactions page long ago. Caleb Hawley has been on the PUP list, so I've been including him when he probably shouldn't have been. He is off the PUP list now, so he is now added back. Caleb Hawley, Tamarian Terry, Quentin Randolph, CJ Wyndham, CJ Jefferson, and Phoenix Sproles. Only so many guys can play wide receiver. We'll see who gets kind of healthy scratched. On the offensive line, Desmond Bland, Zach Fortier, Kevin Toot is off of short-term injured reserve, and Moses Mallory rounds out that offensive line. So we'll see if someone like Fortier gets healthy scratched, Kevin Toot comes back. We'll just kind of see. Defensively, kind of thin on that defensive line considering what they've had. Claude Davis, Lorenzo Hernandez, Adam Plant, and Mayan Ahanatu. We'll see if Plant or Ahanatu gets that third starting spot. Claude Davis, Lorenzo Hernandez will most likely start on that defensive line. Jamal Williams and Mikkel Calhoun at your linebackers. Williams did start last week. We'll see if Mikkel Calhoun comes in. If it was just kind of a 1-game rest, we'll see. On the secondary, again, nothing changes for Vegas. Caesar, Agbana, Weber, Williams, and Blades. Again, more of the same there for them. We'll see who starts, who doesn't. Kind of a healthy scratch. Who gets that reserve role? Your kicker is Ben Derby, and that is your 25-man roster for Vegas, your 25-man roster for San Antonio. Let's go take a look at our bet and prediction. We got one more preview after this one. All right, bet and prediction for San Antonio and Vegas. I'm going under. I don't really like taking over-unders. I've said that before, but we don't know. We know that San Antonio is kind of turning more into a running team. We kind of know that Vegas likes to run the ball a bit too. But there's the big play aspect. Nyquan Murray, Callie Rashad, Austin Upshaw, any of them can break out for a deep pass. Same thing, you get Caleb Hawley off of a deep pass, Quentin Randolph now, other way around, Caleb Hawley now. I don't know. The under is going to bite me. I know it will, because that's kind of a low under, all things considered. But if both these teams can run the ball, and we don't know who's starting at quarterback for Vegas, but both teams can run the ball, it's going to be, it could be good. But we'll just kind of see. Defenses on both sides look all right. I mean, Vegas has looked pretty good, all things considered. These two teams did hit the under the last time that they played, and that's kind of what I'm looking for more in this one. So I do kind of see a little bit more lower scoring. I think Malik Henry was the quarterback for San Antonio when these two teams met last. Or was that Guy Myers? I think it was Guy Myers. I think that was his first start for San Antonio. Yeah, it was. And then Jaden Delora did start for Vegas. Yeah, and I'm remembering now. So, yeah, if that's how that game is going to go, how it was in San Antonio just a few weeks ago, that's kind of my basis for this one, too. I do think Vegas could squeak out the victory. My prediction for this one, 38-35. I'll be honest, I kind of like what San Antonio is doing. I do. It would not shock me if San Antonio wins this game. There are some questions that Vegas needs to answer. Obviously, the quarterback is the biggest one. The fact that the reigning IFL MVP is struggling like this, I don't know. Bad taste in your mouth. But for San Antonio, they do look good, and they're switching their offense up to be more of a run-centric style. It could bode well for that passing game, man, because you would just kind of sit on your heels and wait for San Antonio to run the ball. This could open up a whole new dynamic, and it kind of has. So, yeah, we'll just kind of see. But I don't have a good gauge on this one. My confidence is not too high on either side. Like I said, I pick a winner. It's going to be Vegas just because of home field advantage. But I could see San Antonio easily winning this one. If San Antonio drops to 1-5, alarm bells need to be rung. They do. It's just not a good season for San Antonio at that point. And Vegas, they go up to 4-2. Now, San Antonio wins. They go to 2-4. Vegas drops to 3-3. That third or fourth playoff seed looks a little bit more in sight for San Antonio. So we'll just kind of see. But overall, it should be a close matchup. It should. Regardless of the score, it should be a close matchup. So that's how I have it. Under 79.5, 35-38. Vegas takes the victory at home. Unfortunately, that drops San Antonio to 1-5. And we just kind of go from there. So I will be interested to see how this one goes. Let's take a look at our final preview after this. We'll wrap everything up. All right, final preview of the night. Back to Arizona we go as the 2-3 Massachusetts Pirates, 1-0 on the road, taking on the 2-3 Tucson Sugar Skulls, 1-1 at home with a huge confidence boost win last week. 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. This should be a fun one. It should. These two teams hate each other. They have played one time and they absolutely hate it. I'm just kidding. Season leaders for both sides. Kenji Bahar, your leading passer for Massachusetts, 75 of 117, 719 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. Jorge Reyna for Tucson, 31 of 64, 364 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 picks. Rushing leaders, Puka Williams, 60 carries, 193 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Devontae Saplanche, 39 carries, 145 yards, 1 touchdown. Your receiving leaders, Thomas Owens, 16 catches, 201 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Alfonso Taylor, 7 catches, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns through the air. Your injury report, not really anything to report for Massachusetts. Those guys have kind of stayed the same. We'll kind of see how it goes for them. And then for Tucson, Jaquez Jackson has been added to the short-term injured reserve list, so they'll need a new linebacker. Your game odds, over-under of 78.5, and Massachusetts favored by 1.5 on the road. So plus 1.5 underdogs at home for the Sugar Skulls, plus 105 at home for Tucson, minus 125 for the Pirates. We are at the Tucson Convention Center at Tucson Arena in Tucson, Arizona. I'm just seeing how many times I can say Tucson. 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, and we are on the Indoor Football League Network as mentioned prior. Our head-to-head, like I said, these two teams hate each other. They have met once since 2021. Week 9 of 2021, Massachusetts 37-34. It's been 4 years since these two teams have met. And again, throw out the record books when these two teams get together. But yeah, I'm ready to see how these two teams play. This is probably the closest Massachusetts will get to Arizona since Can't really play the Rattlers in the regular season since they fought fans in the stands. But anyway, the goal is for Massachusetts to get back here and maybe Tucson as well and match up for the championship. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's go take a look at our 25-man rosters and our bet and prediction with this one, and we'll move on. All right, so 25-man rosters popping up over my face here. Let's take a look at the away side first. Not a lot on the offensive side for Massachusetts. Kenji Bahar, your starter. Felix Harper, your backup. Puka Williams, your starting running back. Dominic Roberto, your backup. Wide receiving core remains the same. T.O. Redding, Isaiah Coulter, Thomas Owens, and Isaac Zico. Offensive line, again, stays the same. Nick Ford, Jordan McRae, Ryan Johnson, and Navon Donaldson. Defensively, there has been one addition, but it's to the linebacking core. I do need to fix that eventually. But anyway, defensive line, Dominic Q, Jablonski Green, Guy Thomas, DJ Dale, Terry Beckner. Your linebacker, Monty Montgomery. Why? Well, Sal Napoli is with the Patriots right now. He has been called up to the NFL for training camp, so just forget that his name is even there. Monty Montgomery will most likely be your linebacker unless they take someone from the defensive line or the secondary and put them there. Which, by the way, Monty Montgomery reminds me of side tangent. There was a Nashville Cats player with the same name in the arena football video games, and I always giggled at that name when I was younger. It was just like, why? How do you name your guy Monty Montgomery? But anyway, there's another one just like him, apparently. Your secondary, Matt Elam, Marquise Waters, Destin Mack, Marcus Floyd, and Ty Smith. Josh Gable is your kicker for the Pirates. Over to Tucson. Trip Harrington, Jorge Reyna for your quarterbacks. Again, Trip Harrington, that do-it-all quarterback, wide receiver, running back, whatever you have. He will be wide receiver. I mean, he started at wide receiver the last couple of games. I don't expect anything different. Running backs, Devontae Sapp-Lich, Jameis Williams. And then your wide receivers, Jerome Buckner, Drew Dixon, Alfonso Taylor, and Kevin Adams. Offensive line, Kakor Kustinian, Q Baker, Aurelius Dunn, Dallas Raines, and Diamante Decor. Jermaine Donaldson. Again, Donaldson said he was signed at one point. I've never seen him on any rosters or anything, so we'll see. Defensive line, John McMullen, Niles Gaddy, Trey Henry, DeJymin Brooks, and Jalen Stewart. Stewart switch numbers, Kustanian switch numbers, so that's the reason why they're kind of out of place. DeAndre Cruz is signed at linebacker, so new linebacker game for both sides since Jaquez Jackson is on short-term injured reserve. Your secondary for Tucson, Tariq Bracy, Brian Murray, Jalen Perkins, Ahmad Lyons, and Kendricks Gladney. And to be honest, the defense of Tucson has kind of stayed the same. Now with Jackson out at the linebacker spot, it's a little different, but it's really been kind of Niles Gaddy, John McMullen, DeJymin Brooks, Trey Henry's kind of been your super sub, Jalen Stewart's kind of gotten in there a little bit. And then on the secondary, it's been Bracy, Murray, Perkins, and Gladney as your starting secondary, with Ahmad Lyons kind of being your backup. Your kicker is Kevin Macias. That is your 25-man roster for Tucson, your 25-man roster for Massachusetts. So we'll take a look at our bet and prediction. We'll move on. All right, bet and prediction. I don't know. I don't have a good gauge for this. Massachusetts is coming off of a bye week. Tucson has their big upset against Arizona. Does that mean it's ripe for... Was it ripe for an upset game? I think so. Minus 125, Massachusetts on the road. And you could take the minus 1.5 for the minus 110, better odds for the spread, but I don't know. I don't have a good gauge for this one. It could be momentum for Arizona, or for Tucson, riding the momentum of beating Arizona. That could make this game close. Massachusetts could come out and just kind of destroy them. It could be Tucson coming out and doing the destroying. I have no idea. But I do like this. I know I joked about it in the preview part, but it's nice to see these teams that don't necessarily play each other often. I mean, it's been, 4 years since these teams have played each other? It's nice to see kind of these matchups. That's kind of what I've wanted for a while now. You see some teams from the East play some teams from the West, get some games that you don't normally see, and go from there. And this is one of them. I know Mass will play Northern Arizona next week, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to see games like that. So, but minus 125, I do think Massachusetts is kind of the better team here. We'll just kind of see how it goes, man. They're coming off a bye week. They're 2-3. Tucson is 2-3. I know Tucson got the victory last week. They looked all right against Arizona. Nothing bad, nothing good. I mean, like they were able to keep it close with Arizona. They were. Everything, I mean, they've kept it close with Jacksonville. They've kept it close for a couple of games, and some games they've kind of just looked out of place. And what Tucson team are we going to get? You know, we kind of know what we're going to get with Massachusetts. They will run the ball with Puka Williams, set up the passing game. Thomas Owens, he's had a really good season this year. Isaiah Coulter, Isaac Zico, Tio Redding, like that game, that offense looks good. Massachusetts defense also looks pretty good. But Tucson's defense, they have looked kind of good as well. And that offense, I mean, if they can get things going, I don't know. Like I said, I've said it in the previous previews. You need Devontae Sapp-Lynch. Simple as that. You need Devontae Sapp-Lynch to be a catalyst. If you can do that, again, this should be a very fun game. My prediction, 40-36. I think Massachusetts takes it. You can take the -1.5 with that, I guess. But I don't know. It's a close game. I just kind of had to pick, and that's what I'm picking. So -125. We'll see. And if Tucson gets the victory, they go to 3-3, and that's something I did not expect kind of early on in this season. So, yeah, this could be a springboard for either side. Someone's going to go 2-4, someone's going to go 3-3. Really damage their playoff hopes when it comes to whoever loses. So that's what we have. -125 for Massachusetts and 40-36 for our prediction. So with that, let's go wrap everything up and get out of here. And that is it for our Week 8 Saturday preview. We still have one more game to get to on Sunday, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But until then, I'm going to take off here, edit this video, because I totally didn't realize it was a 3 o'clock game for Quad City and Green Bay. I thought it was going to be a 7 o'clock kickoff, and that's just stupidity on my part. So anyway, I'm going to take off here, edit this video, get it out as soon as I can, and I'll catch you guys in the recaps and everything like that. Like I said, I'll get Week 7's recaps and stuff like that out when I can. I'm just very behind, but I've made a pact to myself to do every preview and every recap for this season. So I will do that, but I wanted to get this one out here for more relevant information. If you guys want to watch the Week 7 recaps, I'm not going to put them out on socials or anything, so there you go. But anyway, that's where we have it. I'm going to take off here, guys. Love and appreciate every single one of you. If you feel inclined to, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. Doesn't bother me. But with that being said, I'm going to get off here, edit this video, and get ready for Week 8's action. And hey, go Winnipeg. There you go. There you go, baby. Take that, St. Louis. Take that, Dallas. Let's go. Go Jets. Go. Until then, love and appreciate every single one of you. Until then, see ya.